B'Shem Kol Yisrael. Yosef Mendelovitz recounts, my story begins with really bad pains that I started feeling, and I had no idea where they were coming from. So I went to the doctor, and they sent me to do checks. And unfortunately, the doctor saw some growth, and he was concerned that it might be talking about a cancerous situation, a very dangerous situation. Now, since I got out of Siberia, I would always check in with Rav Mordechai Eliyahu. Whatever Rav Mordechai would tell me, that's how I would live my life. And so, of course, I went to check in with the Rav. In this situation, too, I showed the Rav what the doctor's reports were, and the Rav said, "En lecha klum. You don't have anything. Od lefnei Rosh Hashana tivusar b'tzurot tovot. Before Rosh Hashana, you're going to see good tidings." And of course, this is unbelievable. My wife and I were so happy because what the doctors had been, predicting, it seemed really, really bad. But we had faith in the Rav, we had faith in Hashem, and we trusted that there would be good news soon. Those were the weeks before Rosh Hashana, and no news and no good news came. And it was already Erev Rosh Hashana, and we still had not gotten any news from the doctor, and we were getting very, very scared, very concerned, and we were wondering what's going to be with the bracha of the Rav. It was a half hour before the Chag began. The phone rang, and it was Professor Halpern who was on the line. And he told us that he just got out of the hospital. He was at the pathological section, and he wanted to check to see if there were any results. And he saw my results. They were positive. There was no growth. Obviously, we were thrilled. We were so happy. But what was the most unbelievable was that we had in our midst such a tzaddik that knew so much like Mordechai Eliyahu. I want to tell you another story from the amazing book Aviyim Shel Yisrael, page 202. This one is retold by Moshe Shammai. So Moshe had a worker, a woman who worked with her. Unfortunately, she had a daughter who was 3 years old that was sick with cancer. After chemotherapy, the doctors believed that the disease had disappeared, but an ultrasound revealed that there was another growth, and they sent it for a checking in Hadassah. Now, the woman came over to me and said, "What should I do? How can I, get help for my situation? How can I help my daughter?" So I said, "Go speak with Mordechai Eliyahu. And make sure you ask, what can I do to make the situation better for my daughter?" And so I did. The woman came, and she came before Mordechai Eliyahu. She started explaining the medical situation, but before she could finish, Mordechai Eliyahu cut her off and said, "Listen, hatotzaot yitz'u tkinot. The results are going to come out great. Don't worry about it." She continued to try to tell the story. He said, No, don't worry. The results will come out great. She then asked, "What can I do to make the medical situation better for my daughter?" The Rav said, "Tadliki nerot bezman shekatuv beluchot. Light candles in the time which is written in the charts. Lifnei knisat Shabbat, before Shabbos starts." I told him, "But I do light candles." The Rav said, "Tadliki nerot bezman shelehem. Light candles at their proper time." And he said this 3 times. I told her, "Listen, the Rav is not saying things for no reason. Maybe you don't light at the right times." He said, "Of course I light candles. On Erev Shabbos, I go to my mother-in-law, and so I light Shabbos candles already early in the afternoon." Of course, I explained to her, "You can't light early in the afternoon. light when the Rav tells you. 40, 45 minutes before Shkia. Lighting early in the afternoon doesn't count. And indeed, she did. She lit, and amazingly enough, she soon got a letter from the Beit Cholim saying exactly in the nusach of the Rav, in the language of the Rav, Totzaot Habdikot Tkinot. The results are positive. Your daughter will be okay. Another unbelievable example of the Rav's complete Ruach HaKodesh. Say one more story about the Rav's Ruach HaKodesh. You guys down with that? Sounds good. So, Rav Tvizer, who's a Sofer Stam, retells. Once, a Jew came over to him and explained that he is a merchant of Sofer Stam materials, of mezuzahs, of tefillin, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, and he came to get advice from the Rav. The Rav heard his words and said, "Listen, check if you have mezuzahs in your house." Now this man was in shock. He says, "What do you mean? I sell mezuzahs and tefillin. Of course I have mezuzahs in my house. I myself put up a mezuzah just a year ago." But Rav Tfizer said, "Listen, if Rav Mordechai Eliyahu is telling you to check your mezuzahs, you better check your mezuzahs." Indeed, he went home, he checked his mezuzahs, and unbelievably, the mezuzahs had no scrolls in them. They were completely not kosher. Rav Tfizer then worked up a little chutzpah, and he said, "How did the Rav know that there were no mezuzahs?" And the Rav said, "Since it came out of my mouth, Hashamayim amru amen." In the heavens, they said, Amen. 3 unbelievable stories of the Rav's Ruach HaKodesh, his divine spirit, and of course his care and concern for all people. Have a beautiful day, and may we all be holier Jews, because holiness, as we can see, leads to Ruach HaKodesh. It's real. It's a real system. And if Rav Mordechai Eliyahu could get Ruach HaKodesh through his yira, his fear, his love, his kedusha, then this system must work. So Bezrat Hashem, we should emulate his ways and become holier and holier, higher and higher on the rung of holiness. Have a great day.